afternoon. My name is Peter Padavano. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer here at HelloTeam. I wanted to thank everyone that's participating on this discussion today in regards to an overview of who HelloTeam is, as well as giving a product demonstration in regards to the actual platform itself. HelloTeam, to give you a little background, folks, is a company that was founded 3 years ago by our CEO, Tanya Bakaloff. The value that HelloTeam is bringing to both public and private companies as well as not-for-profit organizations, it's allowing employers to achieve better employee engagement from one's workforce. Everything from communication tools to peer-to-peer recognition to that of having folks understand their goals and achieving their success as a person as well as a contributor for one's company are all embedded within HelloTeam's platform, as well as getting a pulse of one's employees through surveys. So again, the folks that are joined here today at HelloTeam, I'm joined by Tanya Bakaloff, my CEO and founder. I myself, Peter Padavano, I am the head of sales here at HelloTeam, and I'm also having the fortune of having Colin Peterson, who's one of our client services managers, join in as well. Colin?
Thank you, Peter.
So again, well, we've talked with a lot of prospects and clients today, and HR folks that are on this call, if you're looking at this specific screenshot, a lot of challenges are faced by employers today. Everything from the communication, how to build one's culture of a winning culture, having the ability to engage and do some sort of recognition for one's staff, to that of, again, learning or understanding one's job duties or goals within the company are things that are challenges for HR folks and for executives who are trying to drive revenues if they're in a company, or they're trying to drive a mission statement if they're in a not-for-profit. The other factor, too, for especially folks that are in the CFO seat or in the HR seat are challenges of understanding what areas does a company need to grow in terms of hiring and retention and why people may be leaving one's organization. Maybe there's a culture issue, or maybe it's just that they don't see value in terms of their job. So we're able to provide a lot of different tools. One of the things that you will see through the demo of the technology is that it's not one size fits all, that you're able to create a modular approach based on the life cycle of your company. If someone needs only types of communications or some sort of peer recognition or something around knowing one's employees, or even doing the goals and tracking performance and doing surveys, we're able to separate the different segments that we're going to be showing you today based on the specific needs of your company. So I'm going to be moving over to the actual demo of the technology. Again, this is the actual live demo of the technology whereby one will be able to see that it is a centralized platform. It's basically a social intranet for one's employees. And the value here is I'm in this demo, Ariana Monkey. I'm a chief people officer of one's company. In this area, you're able to get to know the people. Things like the new employees, someone that's being hired into one's organization, things like birth dates that might be relevant to just acknowledge someone's birth dates, things ranging from anniversaries, how many years someone has been in the organization, to that of people who are moving up within the organization in terms of titles or jobs, and showing that there is some sort of promotion within one's company. The value here, folks, is that you're not only able to get an understanding of what's going on within the organization in terms of the new hires or accolades that are being accomplished, but you're going to also have the ability to reach out to those individuals by having the context for that specific person, but also provide them some sort of acknowledgement through a high five. So there is value there in terms of allowing the employees to really build a culture of a unified culture. Secondly, in the next component of the dashboard, one is able to provide high fives, acknowledgements. I know we recently did this for Colin because he successfully onboarded a client of ours, and we wanted to give him some sort of peer recognition in terms of the white glove approach that was achieved for this particular client. So what I was able to do was conduct a high five. Again, the high five can be rebranded or renamed, whatever a company has in terms of what they're trying to achieve in terms of culture. I know some companies call this the Bravo Award. But in this situation, I'm able to write a comment, good job in onboarding our client. And you're going to be able to drop down through a menu the specific staff member that you want to make that acknowledgement. And it would be posted in this section called High Fives. The value here, and I think that you can attest to this, Colin, is that it's allowing employees to feel some sort of satisfaction that they're being acknowledged by peers, but also more importantly, it's just making the overall organization aware that someone did a really good job.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the clients I work with mention how their employees, and I mean, even ourselves, whenever somebody says, wow, great job, we all feel a certain sense of satisfaction for that, especially where this kind of gives that avenue to be broadcasted to the entire company. So people are really just feeling good about that, and that it's not necessarily just salary or benefits that are really keeping people at a company. It's the fact that they know that they're doing a good job and that people are seeing that they're doing a good job is equally as valuable.
I agree with that sentiment. So the other thing too that a lot of HR folks have a challenge with is that they have staff members always coming to them and saying, hey, can I go find my pay stub, or can I go find where my benefit statement would be? Well, you're able to post useful links for those employees so that this way they could go find it themselves. On the top right section, the other thing that's going to be relevant here is you're going to be able to have your executive team or whoever the administrator of the site is to post newsworthy events within the organization. In this situation, our client was actually able to cascade it throughout their entire team that they actually just did a recent product release for their clients. So that's relevant because it's at least keeping people in touch of what's going on within the company, and it's allowing them to have more connectivity to the employer themselves. And then finally, the thing that might be relevant for you as an HR folks is you want to build that fun culture. So things like lunches that are going to be, hosted by the company, or all hands or town hall meeting, you may want to post here on the top, bottom right section where it says events. So finally, the thing that I would say is relevant here is you're able to post performance reviews or open surveys, and people will get email reminders in regards to those items that are due by them as an employee of the organization. A lot of employers, what I've seen, Colin, is that they have some sort of form of this in their companies, but it's piecemeal. If I recall, one of our clients, which was a non-for-profit, used Slack for communication for high fives. They used emails to discuss new hires that are going within the company, and they also send out emails from the C-level executive that something's going on that's newsworthy in the organization. And so a lot of the challenges that they were faced with was what's relevant and what's important in terms of email feeds or communications, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, and you see a lot of these employers who, from feedback from their employees, have heard that they don't want their inboxes flooded every single day from somebody with a reminder for a certain event that's happening in upcoming weeks. So HelloTeam does a good job. The administrator can select a certain time period, whether it's weekly, monthly, that they want these digest emails that have all of that information in it sent out, because if really you're sending somebody one email with all of the information, they're a lot more likely to read that than reading 50 emails they're getting a week of different things that are going on in the company, because that's a lot harder to keep up with.
Yep, and that's why I'm showing this specific screen. They're going to be able to determine if they want to do a weekly feed, bi-weekly feed, or a monthly feed in terms of those newsworthy events. So it's not only going to be posted here on the dashboard, it's also going to be posted in regards to an email communication to your staff. Other helpful link before I move off of the actual initial page of the HelloTeam website, that would be company logo branded by your organization itself. The other thing that a lot of our clients find relevant is they like to have suggestions from their staff members that might be anonymous, things that are constructive feedback that the administrator or the HR person could take to the executive team to let them know what's going on within the company or organization that like to have some sort of improvements. So this is where they're able to title anything in regards to newsworthy events and be able to put a description and as well as put anonymous. So we had a recent client that actually, I think you had to handle it, Colin, about they wanted some sort of better coffee breaks.
Yeah, they weren't happy with the current cafeteria coffee.
So it might be irrelevant, and you may say, why is that even worth noting? Well, The fact is, at the end of the day, you want to make your employees happy. So I know that the specific request for the employee was they wanted Starbucks coffee over Dunkin' Donuts. I know that might seem trivial, but they wanted to post that, and they didn't want to be the person that's the one saying that they like to have that as a suggestion within the company. But the company was able to use our tool to get that anonymous feedback. Moving on, getting to know one's employees is also relevant, and getting to know their pedigrees as well as relevant. And under HelloTeam, you're able to achieve that. I'm clicking on the screen again. I'm Ariana Monkey in this situation whereby I am able to pull a summation of one's background. Looking left to right, I'm able to see when she was hired, when her birth date is. If you want to put birth dates, that's discretion of you as an employer, or as an employee, they have the discretion of doing that, who that person's reporting to, and getting a full summation of that person's background and interests and skills. You're going to also be able to see the contact information for those individuals, and you're going to be able to use various resources, including that of Slack, Skype, and other ways of communication that are going to be able to sync up with our system. The other thing that I find relevant, and I think that we discussed this with another client of ours that's out in California, is the recognition that's also posted through badges. Things like being a chief closer, being a chief innovator. Colin, I think one of our clients really, that resonated with their team, because even though they got high five recognitions, they wanted something that they can always look at their profile and say, hey, I was recognized by my supervisor of being maybe someone that knows how to be a chief ambassador, knows how to be a chief closer, especially if they're in sales or if they're in service. They want to know that they're being recognized by their supervisors. I think you had that situation with one of our clients recently.
Definitely, and I think one of the most important pieces of the badge aspect is that you're actually able to customize each badge. So you can change the name, you can change the description. So really, for example, one of them used the employee of the quarter. So they made a specific badge for that title so that everybody could see that they maintained that spot of employee of the quarter throughout that entire duration. That was able to stick with them, so they were able to have that sense of pride and that recognition for the entire period until somebody else became.
Excellent. So the other things that looking from left to right, it's able to cascade in terms of the experience level of those individual employees. Again, this gives a truncated version of how many high fives person received. Again, that peer-to-peer recognition, what current responsibilities are in terms of their job duties, things that are also relevant in terms of current goals, what their job requirements are, where they stand with achieving those goals. And I find most important, and I see a lot of aha moments for some of our clients, is positions that they're interested in future roles. And the reason why I bring this up, if I'm working for a non-for-profit or a profit company, a lot of times people don't ask, what are you aspiring to become? If I'm a salesperson, I want to become a manager or a VP of sales, wouldn't it be worth noting in someone's profile that they're looking to achieve that as an aspiration in terms of career path? Well, in this system, you're going to be able to see what that specific goal is and what that person has in mind in terms of achieving within the company or even outside the company. And the relevance here is about retention, aligning the goals that the person has to the aspirations that they personally have as well. Moving forward, the other relevance here is not only are you going to be able to see one's profile, you're going to be able to manage it through an organizational chart. Everyone in terms of who's reporting to who. It's an interactive org chart. So if Alicia is moving over to a different department, you're able to do a drag and drop for that individual, or the various individuals that report to her, you can move an entire department. The value here is you're going to be able to pull up that person's information as well. And you're going to be able to get more details, just like Ariana's profile. So this way you can get to know Alicia in a better light when you meet with her and sit down with her, especially with a lot of the clients that we service. They have multi-state locations and multiple offices. They need to get to know that person when they contact that person, maybe for the first time. So there is added value. Finally, the various charts that I'm showing and the various pictures and information pertaining to these employees, you're able to PDF this information, print it out, and the value here with the org chart, you're able to print out this particular information so that this way you can incorporate it into a board presentation, for example. A lot of our clients are using it for board presentations that you're able to download it as a PDF, for example, just to give you an example of this. And it actually shows the members. Again, I'm giving a truncated version of this, but this is a value to a lot of our clients because a lot of clients have expressed to us that their payroll provider or their HR tools are not able to give that truncated version that they can put in a PowerPoint presentation when they're speaking in town hall meetings or board presentations. Moving forward, getting to know who Ariana has as direct reports as well. This is actually going to be able to give you, again, an example of who is my direct report in this situation. Sharon Mahoney has a direct report of Sam Houston. Same idea. You're able to see information that's relating to that particular employee, get to know the person better, get an understanding of what their current goals are. Again, it's giving that connectivity that a lot of clients don't have today, especially with clients that have multi-state locations and multiple offices. So, final item that I would talk about in regards to, specific skills or specific understanding of, what background a person has. You're going to also have the ability to have a skills match finder, whereby you're going to be able to pull up specific skills of individuals that might be related for specific projects you may have upcoming. You can do this based on locations, based on departments. And again, it's just pulling down a list of individuals that have, for example, account management within their pedigree. And the relevance here is you may have a specific project that comes up within the organization that needs to be attended to right away. So if I'm managing 70 people, I need to know what the specific skill sets are of each and every individual. I'm able to achieve this through this skills match section.
And I think we see a lot of times employees don't necessarily put down typically what skills they have in a traditional setting. Because if they're, let's say, in finance, they won't say that they also have some skills when it comes to Adobe or different creative skills. So I think here, sometimes you're able to be pulled into teams to work on things that you're not traditionally working on every day, which really kind of keep things fresh and people excited about coming to work every day. Really doing what they like and using the skills. Because if somebody's putting down that they're able to do something, they want to showcase that and be proud of what they can do.
And again, it'll also provide contact information. And same idea, if you need to get more information in regards to Alicia, you're able to pull down her profile information. So the next component that a lot of clients appreciate is not only the connectivity, but the communication and the peer recognition that we've just discussed, but also aligning people's goals to their job functions and getting to know employees, getting to know what their requirements are in terms of achieving their goals and personal success, as well as the success of the company. So again, just to give you some sense, looking from left to right, company goals, department goals, personal goals, the value here is that we're helping companies align the goals. So that this way, from an executive level, you're cascading goals to different departments and personnel so that everyone understands their job duties and allows companies to achieve accountability. That's the value proposition here. So if I have a personal goal, let's say, for example, review benefits and 401k options that's assigned to Sharon Mahoney, if I know that I'm achieving 100% of that goal, it will actually be shown here in terms of what the total percentage of that goal is achieved, but it would be cascaded to the department goals and would also be cascaded to the company goals. Again, what the value here is, it's allowing the executive team to know where there are gaps, allow directors and supervisors to know who their direct reports are in terms of what their job requirements are, but more importantly, allow them to coach and help people achieve those goals within the organization. The value here too is they will get email reminders of reviewing their goals, so that this way it's not a last minute surprise that they did not do their job. So again, just to give you an example, if I need to add a goal, you're able to put in the specific title, you're able to put in the due date, you're able to put in the description, and you're able to determine who the owner is of that specific job requirement.
And I think it helps a lot when employees can see directly how them completing their specific goal is directly impacting even the entire company. Because as you do increase your specific goal, you can see that maybe it's increasing from 60 to 61%. And that may not seem like it's a lot, but just them completing that specific assignment is helping the goal towards 1% of maybe it's quarterly, yearly, entire goal, which is a big point when people think about it on kind of the grander scale of how HelloTeam is able to kind of picture that out.
Yep. So when I always tie in goals, I always look at also performance reviews. And a lot of companies do different types of performance reviews, from that of paper-driven performance reviews to 360s. And it's never always uniformed. Just like goal setting, a lot of people use PowerPoints, presentations. No one understands what their real goals are. Same thing happens with a lot of folks that we talk to about their performance reviews. So if you have a good performance review tool, you're able to add in the different sets of questions you have used today into the system. So there's going to be open-ended questions, star rating questions, scalable questions. Again, the value here is it's not canned. In other words, you're able to create your own list of requirements for a review of an individual, set the specific date or period that you want those reviews conducted, and forget about it, in the sense of set it and forget it. You're also able to share the review form to various members within the organization. So if I know Colin's going to be coming up for his review before the end of the quarter, I'm able to share it to him. But I'm also able to do a 360 or send it out to other supervisors that he works for, so I can get an understanding about how he's achieving those goals and how is he working within achieving great success for our culture. So to give you an example of the performance reviews, I can see that Ryan Coleman conducted a performance review. It's completed. I can see his personal results, see what he feels in terms of his core competencies, see how he feels like he needs some sort of improvement. And then what I'm able to do is cascade all the way down and see who else has actually given feedback in terms of Ryan achieving success. And so looking at the scores that Abigail gave him, I'm able to see that she's in alignment with what his answer was in terms of needing some sort of improvement, et cetera, et cetera. The value here is it's helping you get a sense of what other folks think of that person's performance within the company, and then being able to coach that person to better success. Then going a little bit further in terms of analytics, we're able to determine where people rank in regards to achieving specific requirements within the company. Now, obviously, Aaron Cawthorn is on the low end of the spectrum when it comes to core technical competencies, while Beth is achieving the higher end. So with Aaron, I may need to rehabilitate or coach him out of the organization, while I would like to find future Beths. So if I want to find out information more about Beth, same idea, folks, in terms of understanding her pedigree, her profile, so I can use her as a benchmark for future hires. Finally, the last item that I would talk about before we move on to reports is the surveys. Same idea in regards to surveys that are being conducted today. You're able to create open-ended questions, closed-end questions, just like the performance reviews, folks. A lot of clients are appreciative that we're providing some sort of standard pulse checks, company health scores. But again, we help companies and clients determine what questions should be asked that might get them the best results in terms of proactive surveys.
And we're not just seeing clients use surveys for the typical, how do you rank this 1 to 10? Sometimes it's something more creative where it's employee of the quarter, employee of the year. So really you can see specific quotes that people have entered about why Ariana should be the employee of the year. So kind of when you're dispatching that news to everybody, you can enter in specific quotes that are some of the most impactful that you may have read about really why Ariana should be the employee of the quarter, employee of the year. And I think that really helps people understand, wow, she's really important to a lot of people based on this feedback.
Yeah, and so the value here that Colin's talking about is we have a survey tool which allows companies to do like an employee of the quarter. It's an open-ended question. You can take those specific quotes that come from other employees to say why that person's being recognized, that is showing all the attributes within one's company. So going back to the surveys again, what it allows you to also do is be able to pull up reports around the survey questions. And to give you an example of this, we have different results for other things such as employee engagement surveys. This is an example of that tool whereby you're able to pull up things in terms of like do I find my company best practices in terms of honest and transparent? I'm able to use things like this for executive town hall meetings or executive meetings so that this way I can get a better sense of the pulse of my company when we do these type of surveys. So what is the added value here is it's not just about allowing you to create surveys, it's also allowing you to get analytics around the people. The final thing that I would like to cover is reports. Again, things like hiring, retention, turnover, even acknowledgement, how many people have gotten high fives. These are all relevant items. To give you a couple of examples, for the hiring and the headcount, you're able to do this based on departments, find out who's hired in within the company, how many future hires need to be done. But going back to what I was discussing, you're getting analytics around the employees. You're able to determine the hiring trend within one's company. Again, this is where folks like Colin and other people that are on our team will help coach you in terms of getting trained to get the most out of these type of reports so that it makes your jobs easier. So one last item, things like high fives. See how many people have gotten high fives over a period of time. This is also relevant because when you're doing reviews or performance reviews or doing some sort of pay increase, you're able to align it to why people are achieving either goals, performance, or more importantly, that they're being recognized by peers within the company. So again, all in all, going back to what we were originally saying, when I look at a company, I say to myself, all right, it's just, at the end of the day, it's more about not only getting the most out of a tool like this, but it's also achieving these various areas that are challenges for your organization or your company. I think that HelloTeam does a great job when it comes to helping companies create some sort of social intranet to get to know one another. Two, it helps them build a culture of success because it's building upon recognition and peer-to-peer acknowledgement. And more importantly, it's allowing companies to understand a better pulse of one's company. And then finally, I would say, allow one to help create accountability and track performance within one's company while getting analytics in terms of reports, so that this way you know how to grow the business and what areas need to be improved. So if there are additional questions, I know this was more of a demo of what the technology is about, but if you have additional questions in terms of either best practices or how we price in terms of the overall service or based on modules that you have an interest in, I am providing you my contact information so that this way you may have time to think about the added value and the impact that HelloTeam may be able to provide to you and your organization, and most importantly, to the most important aspect of your business, your employees. So without further ado, I'd like to thank everyone that has been able to join in on the call. For the folks that weren't able to, we'll be sharing this demo of the technology so that this way you may have those aha moments of areas that we can improve upon. And I want to thank